Hello guys, today talk about the Nintendo Switch. So we're bored now, so we're going to predict what could be the best selling games. No, what could be the upcoming games final sales for Nintendo Switch. So we're going to be starting. We're actually going to be starting off with Mario Golf. Mario Golf, of course, comes out very soon. Mario Golf comes out in 2 days. So Mario Golf Super Rush comes out in 2 days. It is a major Nintendo Switch game, basically here. And we have a list of best-selling Nintendo Switch games for comparisons. So we gotta see Mario Golf. So Mario Golf will probably sell similar to the aforementioned Mario Tennis Aces, which sold 3.06 million copies. I think Mario Golf will sell similar to Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Origami King. I think Nintendo needs to stop relying too much on Mario. I think that's one of Nintendo's big problems. I know Mario's like Nintendo's biggest franchise and sells regardless. But Nintendo does have other franchises, and it seems that Nintendo is signed. But again, this Nintendo holiday seems to be again, like most holiday schedules, too over reliant on Mario characters. Next is, of course, Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Considering this is the only Zelda game releasing this year, it will probably sell at least 5 to 6 million copies. But won't really be that major a seller. But again, people who didn't get to play the original Skyward Sword because it released so late into the Wii's life cycle, it will probably sell super well. Well, next we're going to be talking about the next game, which is WarioWare. WarioWare games are pretty weird in sales. The last game that came out was WarioWare Gold, and that was on the 3DS, so you don't really have any sales for that. But we can have a comparison to like the DS. I think this game will probably sell. The new WarioWare will probably sell like 2 to 3 million copies, I think, or 1 to 2 million copies of how it sells. So that is pretty good, I guess. The next game is Metroid Dread. Metroid games typically sell around 2 to 3 million copies, and Metroid Dread is a long-awaited game, so it might actually sell almost 4 million copies at the most. But I think that would be the most amount of copies sold. It will always be releasing during the holidays, and a lot of people might want to try Metroid for the first time. So 5 million lifetime sales could even happen for Metroid Dread, considering that Nintendo said Metroid is a part of their big free series. But there we go, Metroid Dread will probably sell 3 to 5 million copies. The next game is Mario Party Superstars. Well, it is basically mostly reused boards, reused items. People would want to revisit these reused boards and reused mini games again. I know Mario Party Top 100 was disappointing to many people, but considering the success of Super Mario Party, I think this will probably sell 7 billion copies at the most, or at the least. So there we go. But at the most, it could even sell around 10 billion copies. Next, of course, it's Pokemon Diamond Pearl remakes. Well, of course, because it's Pokemon, and I know I can criticize it all I want, but it's not going to convince all the PokeTubers that it's going to be a bad game, and it will probably sell like 20 million copies or so, or 15 million copies. We're going to compare it to the last Pokemon remakes, which Pokemon remakes typically sell around 12 to 14 million copies. Similar to how Let's Go sold 14.48 million copies. Pokemon Diamond Pearl remakes will probably sell similar to Pokemon Let's Go. Next game is Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. This game will probably sell at least 1 million copies, I believe, at the most. It is a major Nintendo game. It is releasing during the holidays, and it might get Nintendo fans into a new IP, though a lesser known IP, P as well, as also is a remake. Now we're going over future games. So the first game is Breath of the Wild 2. Likely, it will sell around 20 million copies of Breath of the Wild 2. The first game as alone sold 22 million copies, with its massive legs. The first game will likely reach 25 million copies at the end of its lifetime. Breath of the Wild 2 will likely sell around 10 million copies within like a week or so, like Smash Bros. Did. Splatoon 3 will also probably sell around 10 to 15 million copies. Splatoon 2 already sold 12 million. And there's a lot of hype for Splatoon 3. The last game is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which does have a release date. So, Pokemon Legends Arceus will likely sell around, since it is a Pokemon game, and it will probably sell around 10 to 15 million copies, because you guys will probably be like, oh my god, Legends Arceus is a branded boring game. Throw this also 10 million copies. So that's basically it. Goodbye.